Welcome back to Ask the Attorney. I'm Amy Rao Mohan along with Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm.
Yes.
And we've got lots of callers, all the lines lit up.
Every line's been lit up.
That's
Let's
true.
get to them.
We'll get to them and call that number at the bottom of your screen, 737+. We have Carla here. Hi, Carla.
I wonder if I could ask two questions, one on each subject.
All
Sure.
right, go ahead. Fire away.
First one has to do with I'm a creditor. I've already been to General Sessions Court, been given a default judgment, and I've asked for a show cause order. And in the event that this person continues to not show up, basically, I'm told I should get a body attachment. So I'd like a definition of that. And then, and I also don't know if that's something that I have to, that the judge would get for me, or, you know, because I have no experience along those lines. And the second question has to do with a situation with the Attorney General's office. My legislative representatives had requested an opinion of the Attorney General, and he was citing a conflict of interest as a reason he could not issue an opinion, and he was suggesting that this is something that should be decided in the courts, but because it's a civil matter and because I think there's yet another conflict of interest which has to do with an attorney who was representing me at one point, and he since took a job with the Attorney General's office and really didn't do what he said he was going to do for me. I think there's some issues there, so I've been trying to get an appointment with the Attorney General, and there's nobody that they can direct you to specifically to address your request. They have you send it to what is essentially like a general mailbox, and I questioned that to begin with, and then I've been told I've been wanting to know when I would get a response. You know, what is a decent time to be waiting for a response? And an attorney told me that, and keep in mind, I'm not asking for, obviously I couldn't ask for an official opinion on anything, but I'm requesting an appointment, and they said it could be anywhere, same as like an opinion itself, up to 6 months.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure what to tell her about getting an appointment at the AG's office.
Well, the AG, of course, they have their own policies, and of course, they're ranking their time based on if they're working on murders or whatever. So they have wide latitude, wide discretion on who they even give an appointment to. And they're elected public officials, but surely there's some attorney general, an assistant attorney general you could get an appointment with. And many times when I hear people like this, sometimes I recommend just go to the office and sit down and see who you can talk to, because I know how it is. We've got 10 people on the line and there's 5 in the waiting room. So what do? And you have appointments to make. Back to your initial, if you get the judgment, one of the things you may entertain is an asset subpoena. You can issue that asset subpoena, bring the person in, ask the questions, what real estate do you have, what property you have. If they didn't show up, then you could actually ask the court to hold them in contempt because they didn't participate in that asset subpoena.
And then what is a body attachment that she's asking about?
Yes, and of course, that is usually used when people deny coming for child support. And the court says, well, I'm going to issue an attachment, meaning that we sent you notice, you've served a summons, you're supposed to be there, you don't show up. And the judge many times then says, issue an attachment. When they find you, they just hold you in court until you're brought in front of the judge. And of course, that probably is very much available to you in the same civil process.
All right, we've got Brandy here. Hi, Brandy.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good.
I believe I may have a civil case, Mr. Kennedy. I'm not sure.
All right, hit it and I'll tell you.
My problem is this. I live at an apartment, and the complex is under construction, but we have construction workers that are stealing and tearing the homes up.
Yes.
Once he enters. So this construction worker, to be exact, was told twice not to enter my home, and we have key fobs, and they're able to track his fob once he enters my home.
Wow.
And I was told that this worker would be terminated, and I don't know if he did, and I have stolen items as well as medication. So
I'll hold you right there. You're right. Even if your door was unlocked and they do not have permission to enter your home, if they openly came in and took something, that's a burglary. And so that is a felony in the state of Tennessee. And if you know that person's name, you can go to the district attorney. They'll probably get you to a detective, and they'll issue a warrant and have them arrested and charged.
And does she have a civil case?
And it gets down to this. Who, in Tennessee, we have respondeat superior, means this. If they work for Kevin Kennedy, I'm responsible. That's why I have to be so careful on who works for me. Because if one of my employees did that, then yes, I have some responsibility, and they could sue me for negligence, that I owed you a duty of care to protect you. The duty of care was breached. As a result of the breach, there's damages. And so then they would say, yeah, and he's got the money, so here we come. So respondeat superior, you need to find out, is it the apartment complex that hired these workers, or is it a private construction company? So those are some things we just have to deal in a little bit. But yes, you absolutely have a case.
Right. Keep calling that number at your, on the bottom of your screen, 737 plus 737 7587. You've got Mary here. Hi, Mary.
Hello,
Hi.
Mary.
How can we help you tonight?
I just want to say first off, I think Tennessee is doing a wonderful job of taking care of their own. But I have the same problem as the young man had about not seeing his kids.
Okay.
I have grandchildren that I have seen maybe 1 or 2 times in the last 2 years.
Wow.
And I worry about going out. They tell me I can come out, but I went out and took some gifts once, and
Yes.
she wouldn't allow me to come in the house. And I'm a little worried about them because I don't know what they might do, so I'm afraid to go on their property.
Well, here's what we're going to say. A good understanding keeps down a misunderstanding. I heard that 30 years ago, and it stuck with me all these years, meaning this. If those were my grandchildren, I salute you. I encourage you. Try to build a relationship. And we understand when there's problems in the husband and wife, or in many cases they were never married, that they are scared that someone's going to try to attempt to take custody. What I would do is I would try to call and see if I could have a good understanding and bring some gifts and see if I could build a little relationship there. If you're scared they're going to try to get you in trouble, they're going to tell a lie on you, get you arrested, then bring a witness with you. And so the two of you try. And then if it's completely out of hand and you know it's not safe, then don't go. Come to the lawyers. They're all the time. We debate this all the time. Some lawyers say there's no parental grandparents' rights in Tennessee. Well, let me tell you, if you can establish a little relationship, then all of a sudden there's a theory in the law, what's in the best interest of the child, that we're going to travel down. I didn't say I had a TCA. Some days I never have a TCA, but I won't give in, I won't give up, and I won't give out. And if it was your grandchildren, you say, Kev, can you not come up with a creative approach and let me get to see these? I said, we're going to go. Now, the judge could stop me. They can stop me, but the odds are great that we're going to get something done.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for your question.
All right. We've got Jerry here. Hi, Jerry.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead,
How can
Jerry.
we help you?
Yeah, I worked for a company for 20 years, and they promoted drug testing 2 years ago, and I failed a drug test last August
Okay.
for marijuana. Is there any? They never asked, or I never asked, or anything. Is there any possible way I'm eligible for unemployment?
Okay, so there's some gray areas. You'd have to go back to your handbook. If the handbook said it's automatic, there's some gray areas. If they said, well, you get 1 warning ticket, you get a 2nd warning ticket, you're given an opportunity to go to a drug rehab for 2 or 3 days, or 27, what does the handbook, the policy of the company have? And again, what happened to you is a good point. Remember, as Americans, we don't have to admit anything. And in your insurance company, the first thing they'll put on that card, if you're involved in an accident, don't admit. If you're caught and you're charged, and they come up to Amy and I tonight and they pull us over and they say, well, you're Mr. Kennedy. Yes. And I'm riding in Amy's car. And they said, we want to search the car. I'd say, Amy, don't give them permission. Don't give them permission. And Amy said, well, there's nothing in here. Well, we don't know. Well, then guess what? We're in constructive possession, so I'm not going to admit anything, and I'm telling you not to. And they say 90% of the people in the penitentiary that are incarcerated today are there because they talked.
Yeah.
So even if I had the drug screen and they said this, again, you don't have to admit that. Who knows? Was it a correct drug screen or not? I've already told you there's lots of false positives, lots of them.
Right. Call that number at the bottom of your screen, 737 plus 737 7587. Got Christy, who's been waiting patiently. Hi, Christy. Christy, are you with us? Christy? All right, we'll go to the next caller. We've got Steve here. Hi, Steve. Hi.
I got a couple questions I need to ask.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I've arrested 3 different times for people mess up long fork baits and long paperwork, messed paperwork up, and I went to jail 3 different times.
Wow.
And I went to court and I beat all charges. If I got any right to any kind of law, I mean, because they torched me. I got COP, I got bronchitis, I got lung disease, cancer. They torched me in the jailhouse for 10 hours. When they let me out after I made bond, I got out, and they won't let me have my oxygen.
Well, yes.
Supposed to have it and stuff.
I'll tell you this, the courts do make mistakes, and sometimes the paperwork is lost, and many times, you know, over my career, they'll say, well, this charge is old, and they skip bond, and so when they come back, we can't find the warrant. Well, if you can't find the warrant, how are you going to prosecute? And usually he's ready to say, let's just nolly the case, nolly prosecute. That means he won't prosecute. End of story. But sometimes you need a lawyer to make sure that is followed through. Now, in his situation, he maintains he was arrested falsely 3 times. Well, guess what? You have civil rights, and that is civil liability if you can prove that. And in a civil case, it's what's known as a preponderance of the evidence. On the scales of justice, it's just the ever slightest. That's all it takes in a civil case. In a criminal case, you'll always hear them say, you got to find them beyond a reasonable doubt. That means that's a heavy tilt on the scales of justice. So if you could prove just in the slightest that they have falsely arrested you and falsely imprisoned you, then you've got civil remedies to you, sir.
Right, and we've got lots of people waiting on the line. We will take your call, so just hang in there, but we'll be right back after a quick break.